Travis, Colleen, we're good up there? All right. Well, 6 o'clock. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the meeting for the Planning Advisory Committee for today, September the 17th. My name is Brad Mitchell, and I'm the chair of the PAC. I'll start the meeting by giving a brief overview of what the Planning Advisory Committee's mandate is, as well as a breakdown of how the meeting will progress. The PAC consists of 9 citizens of St. John who have been appointed by the city's nominating committee. Our role is to provide advice to Common Council on applications to amend the municipal development plan, the zoning bylaw, or Section 59 conditions, subdivision proposals, along with a number of other possible issues. Our views and opinions are independent. Tonight's meeting will progress as following. Shortly, the committee will vote to adopt the agenda for this evening's meeting. Following the adoption of the agenda, we'll do a roll call for the members of the committee. We'll again go through this evening's agenda. Following that, we'll go through this evening's applications, follow that agenda until it is complete. For each item, city staff will provide an overview presentation. Following this, the applicant will be asked to address the committee. Once the applicant has finished their presentation, the committee may ask follow-up questions. We will then open the public hearing where any members of the public are welcome to address the committee. Each speaker has 10 minutes. We ask you to please avoid repetition of concerns or viewpoints. If you have a large group, we encourage the delegation of a single representative speaker. Once it's your turn to speak, you will be called to the pedestal. The committee may have questions for you following your address. Please note the committee has read any letters or comments submitted for this meeting. The committee may ask the applicant to return to respond to any comments that arise during the public hearing. After this, the public hearing section is closed. No further comments may be made by the public or the applicant. At this point, there may be only questions of clarification to city staff by the committee members. Please remember that this is a safe space and that we ask for everyone to conduct themselves in a respectful manner. Should anybody interrupting the proceedings will receive one warning to refrain from disrupting the meeting. Should disruptions continue, they will be asked to leave the meetings. Members of the public, you are welcome to remain in the chambers to listen to the debate and decision of the committee. However, when your item is concluded, you may leave. Should you have any follow-up questions, please contact city staff. Now let's move into tonight's meeting. We'll begin by the agenda, and I'll begin by mentioning that item 5.1, which is regarding lands for public purposes on 17 Montgomery Crescent, has been withdrawn and therefore is not on tonight's agenda. So we are not dealing with Montgomery Crescent this evening. So anybody that came for that item, it will not be dealt with tonight. So I'll look for a motion in regards to tonight's agenda with the change.
Move the amended agenda.
Seconder? Susan, or Ann, I'm sorry. Ann? All those in favor? Question passed. Thank you. Next, we'll do a roll call. First is Matthew DeLuce, who is unfortunately sick this evening, not able to make it. Second chair, Ann McShane. Councillor Jerry Lowe. Councillor Gary Sullivan is not here. Peter Pappas. Zisa Elementary. Am I even close? I always feel bad about that. Terry Hutchinson. Phil Como. This time I'll also ask whether any members have a conflict of interest on any items in tonight's agenda. I don't see any. Thank you. So we'll begin on what is now 5.2, which is a municipal plan amendment. And just let me open this up. It's regarding an application to rezone 471, 475 Millage Avenue from,
Nope.
oh, this is,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
the description is
okay.
wrong.
Let me read this differently. Okay. just open
No,
the,
that's-
yeah, I'll get to 5.2 here. Okay, so item 5.2 is regarding 0 Nason Road, Martha Avenue, PID 55086-227. Its present plan designation is park and natural area. Its proposed designation is stable residential. The existing zoning is future development, and the proposed zoning is high-rise residential. It's a municipal plan amendment and rezoning. The Community Planning Act authorizes the Planning Advisory Committee to give its views to Common Council concerning proposed amendments to municipal plan and the zoning bylaw. Common Council will consider the committee's recommendation at a public hearing on Tuesday, October 1st. I'll have city staff please make a presentation on this.
Thank you. Good evening. So as said, this is an application for a site just off of Nason Road and at the end of Martha Avenue in the Silver Falls area. The applicant is proposing a municipal plan amendment and a rezoning to allow for the development of 2 70-unit apartment buildings with associated parking, landscaping, and access. The site was previously zoned RM1, which is 3-story multiple residential, in conformity with the surrounding area. When Plan SJ was adopted in 2012, the site was designated future development zone and park and natural area in the municipal plan. This was likely due to the presence of wetland on the site. The wetlands, as shown in this image, and the buffer were delineated by the Boreal Environmental Company to confirm exactly where they were and where that required 30-meter buffer sat. The site design, as shown on screen, was designed to stay out of that wetland area, as well as to work with the topographical challenges of the site due to elevation differences. The site is located in the city's east side, in the Silver Falls area. It's just north of Loch Lomond, but due to elevation changes across the site, and to avoid those wetlands, it would be accessed just off of Martha Avenue. The southern portion of Silver Falls is mostly mid-rise residential with multi-unit buildings, while the wider neighborhood has some lower density R1 and 2, as well as commercially and industrially zoned land. The image on the screen shows the site just at the end of Martha Avenue with a neighboring property accessing their parking off of the site. Mostly it's heavily treed with lots of vegetation at this time. This is an image looking north from the entrance of the site. This is looking down Martha Avenue at the surrounding multi-units. And then here is an image from Nason Road. It's hard to see, but this is where the wetland is. So this would stay untouched and remain mostly vegetated. The municipal plan has designated this area as park and natural area, and staff are recommending amending to stable residential, which would support the expansion of an existing residential neighborhood. And it would allow for the development of this lot as it's already serviced. The site was likely designated as park and natural area during the municipal plan due to that wetland and the mapping available at the time. Staff are recommending rezoning the site as well from future development, which does not allow any development on the site at this time, to high-rise residential. The RH zone accommodates a range of residential uses ranging from single-family and single-detached to multi-unit buildings. The existing development pattern represents this incremental increase in density and scale, with the placement of this RH kind of right after the mid-rise and then next to the low-rise density. The proposed development does align with the regulations established for the RH zone, including parking, amenity space, and landscaping. The service areas are in general support of the proposal. There were some conditions which we are embedding in the project as Section 59 conditions to just address some concerns. The first condition relates to connectivity with the wider pedestrian network, so we're recommending a condition to connect walkways to the public sidewalk. Second condition is to do with road safety improvements that would need to be installed prior to occupancy of the first building, including traffic calming elements and pedestrian crosswalks. And then the third condition would be a small fee towards a crosswalk at Martha Avenue and Mark Drive. Letters were sent to all landowners within 100 meters of the subject property on September 3rd, and public notice was posted on September 9th. The applicants also did door-to-door to speak with a lot of the residents, as most of the surrounding properties were rentals, so they did speak to more of the residents than our letter would reach. 2 letters in opposition were received, mostly with traffic concerns. So staff are recommending approval of the application, which involves amending Schedule A of the municipal plan from park and natural area to stable area, and then amending Schedule B from park and natural area to stable residential, and then rezoning from that future development to high-rise residential and adopting some Section 59 conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any committee members have questions for staff at this time? At this time, I'll ask the applicant to come forward, and if they could state their name. And you have 10 minutes to make your presentation.
Hello, I'm John Harrison. My partners are Ross Pierce, Brad Lockhart, and just arriving, Andrew Harrigan. We don't have a presentation prepared. Never
Have you
done this
read the staff recommendation, and are you in agreement with it?
Yes.
Do committee members have any questions? Councilor Lowe?
Yeah, reading your proposal and under the city, under site and neighborhood, it says this community includes a playgrounds and a basketball court. Have you ever found them out there?
Well, we actually did the door-to-door, and I see it on the city plan, but I know where it says it.
You know, when we get around to it, like, I mean, it's my ward and they're both a disgrace as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, to put more housing out there is great, people, but I mean, the playgrounds has, to me, been deserted. And the basketball court took me 2 days to find it. So anyways, we'll bring it up later as we talk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other committee members have questions? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak on this proposal? Second request, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak for or against this proposal? Third and final call. For or against? Okay, if you'd like to come forward and speak on it. If you could state your name and your address, please.
My name's Mitch Jackson. I live at 558 Martha Avenue, St. John, New Brunswick, E2J486.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I built that house 29 years ago. And I started in June 95, moved in August 15th of 95. And when I moved there was very few houses, nothing on Linden or anything. And I built there because it was a nice little quiet area. Over the years, all the streets are built up, even all the lots around my street. I raised a son, grandson there, and now we're old. They're not living with us now, but now we're older. But I have some concerns, okay? I have concerns for us as noise, heavy equipment, dump trucks, you name it, because that's what we're going up that hill. Martha Avenue is about a foot down level this way already on my side of the house. It's not even sitting right with the street the way it should be. I don't think the trucks and heavy equipment going up that bridge are going to hold that road. I really don't, in my opinion. But you can check it out. You go up there and measure it, and you'll see. The second thing is, it's going to take 1.5 to 2 years to build those kind of two high rises. So I'm not talking traffic for a few months like a house or something like that going up. I'm talking 1.5 to 2 years with noise day and night. That's the concern. The main concern is depreciation of my home. I don't know if you see my property, but I put a lot of hard time, hard dollars, and everything into that to make a home for my wife and children. So I have serious concerns about devaluation. Because I didn't build and have a plan nest egg if I end up in a nurse home or whatever, to have you to pay for that kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I worked for the government for 34 years and retired. Now, I got Veteran Affairs. Yes, they help me out. They pay for my lawnmower and they give me a maid and everything else I need as a veteran. But still, that doesn't justify the devaluation that's going to happen, and you can't tell me that it's not going to happen. So who's going to subsidize that? If I get sick enough and I have to sell it. Who's going to subsidize that? The city? The companies going to build? Who? That's a great concern to me. Work all my life and lose everything overnight if I get sick. And I'm not well now. I had cancer operations. I had cervical spine operation. I don't know how long it lasts. 75 years old I am now. So I don't know what my lifespan is going to be. But meanwhile, I still have those concerns. So I lived there all those years, and it's a pretty good neighborhood. You know, you have noise once in a while with what's already up there, but that's an extreme. But with the traffic that's going to start coming there, another thing I have, when I looked at the blueprint, it shows that that property, it actually borderlines with Loch Lomond Road. So, you know, even if they built this thing, why aren't they not building it off of Loch Lomond Road where we don't have congestion all up in that neighborhood? That's just my thought on this, okay? The void noise and stuff like that, that takes care of the problem. It still doesn't take care of the problem of depreciation. So I thank you for my time and consideration and speaking. By the way, I want to ask you, are you using Bruno's rule of law here or Robert's rule of law in your motions and so on? Like when you take a motion, I just want to know because you asked here, but you got the public here. Do we not have a voice? Maybe not a vote, but do we not have a voice when you pass that motion?
Yes. You did have a voice and you were able to come forward and,
That wasn't explained. See, that's what I was
Okay.
looking at the people here.
That's what I-
They don't
yeah.
understand that. I do,
yeah,
because I ran the biggest union here in New Brunswick, so I know.
yeah.
I know parliamentary procedure, Bruno's rule and Roberts. But thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do any committee members have questions? This gentleman? Thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to speak for or against this proposal? And second call, anybody who would like to speak for or against this proposal? Third and final call. Is there anybody who'd like to speak for or against this proposal? We're now closing public portion of the meeting. And I would ask the committee whether they have any discussions or questions for staff or clarification. Ann?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I have a couple of traffic questions on this one. Yeah. I don't know who's coming for that one. So the first question I have is, like the TAC report recommends 1,000 vehicles a day, and this will result in 300 to 450 over the TAC recommendation. So it talks about traffic calming. The parking lot is built 25% over the requirement, which doesn't instill me with super hope about that. So I'm just hoping someone can speak to that maybe and allay some fears in terms of traffic. Yeah.
Yes, I can defer that to
Yeah.
my colleague Jeremy, who's coming right up for you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Ms. McShane, for this question. So in regards to your, just to give a little bit of clarification about that TAC guidelines, so the Transportation Association of Canada prescribes guidelines for the design of streets in Canada. And the 1,000 vehicles a day is simply given as a threshold for a typical traffic load of vehicles on what would be considered to be a local street. The memorandum that was submitted by the proponent's traffic engineer does clearly state that this is that it is typically expected that this threshold would be exceeded in many urban areas, and especially with I guess with areas where we would be seeing this degree of development or this this degree of density. So as part of the traffic impact study that was prepared, there were traffic counts conducted on several of the intersections in the area. All of these intersections are below the 1,000 vehicle day threshold. And in response to the expected increase in traffic volumes, the recommendations from staff will include traffic calming measures placed on Martha Avenue to encourage dispersion of traffic through adjacent streets so that these traffic loads do not present themselves as much on Martha Avenue.
Okay. Is there a reason that, it's probably designed more than anything because of the wetland, but why Loch Lomond was ruled out versus Martha Avenue?
So I can speak to this. There's actually a substantial change in elevation between the subject site and Loch Lomond Road.
Okay.
If we are to be prescribing the Transportation Association of Canada recommendations for design of streets, such a connection to Loch Lomond Road absolutely would not meet the guidelines. The street would be far too steep. It would exceed any thresholds established for safe access by emergency vehicles,
Okay.
safe approach. It's inadvisable.
This is the safest, okay, exit and entrance. Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee members have questions? Concerns? Do I have anything else at this time? Specifically a motion or a recommendation? I have a motion to approve staff recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Seconded by Peter Pappas. Question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. We'll now move on to item 5.3, which is Don Moore. The applicant is Don Moore Surveying. Landowner is John Fifield. Plan designation is low to medium density residential. Application type is rezoning in Section 59 amendment. The Community Planning Act authorizes the Planning Advisory Committee to give its views to Common Council concerning proposed amendments to the zoning bylaws and amendments to Section 59 conditions on the subject properties. Common Council will consider the committee's recommendation at a public hearing on Tuesday, October 1st. This is referring to civic address 461 Millage Avenue, 471 Millage Avenue, 473 to 475 Millage Avenue. And please, go ahead.
Thank you. As said, this is a rezoning application for 471 and 473 to 475 Millage Avenue, and then a Section 59 amendment application for 461 and 473 to 475 Millage Avenue. The proposal is to rezone a small single-family lot from one unit residential at 460 or 471 millage, and then at 473 to 475 millage from general commercial to mid-rise residential. And this would allow for the development of two multi-unit buildings. This also includes rescinding Section 59 conditions on 461 and 473 to 475. They're no longer relevant conditions as they were mostly to do with the development of the parcel, which has been completed at 471 or 461. And then it was about the commercial uses on the 473 to 475 parcel that would no longer be relevant once construction started on the new buildings. This would allow for a phased development. So the first building would be in the rear of the site where the current car wash is. And then the second phase or the future phase would include replacements of other commercial units on the site. The site is located on Millage Avenue, just south of Boar's Head Road. 461 Millage already contains a new multi-unit building that's not yet occupied. 471 was previously single-family home, and then 473 and 475 is a commercial development. The broader area is characterized by having a mixture of land uses, including a large range of different densities, commercial uses, and some utility service lots. And this site is also serviced by Transit Route 3 and 9, with stops almost less than 50 meters away, and a bike lane that connects the university and the north end. Here in the image, you can see 473 to 475. This is the one that would be rezoned from CG to RM and allow those two new multi-unit buildings and would have the former conditions amended. These former conditions were, as said, centered around the use of the car wash and then access onto the site, which no longer would be relevant for the new development. The new multi-unit of 461 is visible in the back there to give you kind of an idea of what would be replicated on this site. Here's an image of the site looking across to the new building at 461. This is kind of where the access for the two new buildings would be, and the former conditions is really restricted access between these two lots due to the difference between residential and commercial, but with the unity of them all as RM, no longer relevant. The site is designated as low to medium density in the municipal plan, which supports the diversification of housing typologies in established neighborhoods. Policy LU 51 specifically directs higher density to be developed along arterial streets and close to transit, which this location is recognized as. So the proposed development does conform with the policies established in the municipal plan. So as said, all three sites would be rezoned to RM with the removal of the former conditions to just create this kind of cohesive site for the multi-unit development. RM surrounds the area. There's some to the south and to the north and to the west. There is also a lot of commercial uses on Somerset, and then you have some lower density in the area as well. It's a very diverse area of zones. The proposed development does align with regulations established in the RM zone, and with minimal development officers variances just for a required front yard setback, it would meet all requirements, including parking, amenity space, and landscaping. Letters were sent to landowners within 100 meters of the subject property on September 3rd, and public notice was posted on September 9th. One letter was received in opposition with worries about the height of the new buildings. Staff are recommending approval of rezoning 471, 473 to 475 Millage Ave from one-unit residential and general commercial to mid-rise, and then rescinding those former conditions with a simple replacement condition to allow for that continued commercial use while the transition is happening. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any committee members have questions for staff at this time? Ann, you have a question?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. I know this is just a rezoning and it's like, they're not necessarily tied to these designs. It seems to suggest here that the parking's included in the bottom floor of the building. Is that something?
Through the chair to you, I believe there's some underground parking involved in this as well, some surface level and then underground.
Okay. And the reason I ask this, and I guess this is just, for a process point, they don't necessarily have to come back here, although there's often variance, or I guess, and the reason I ask is could that change, or is this what we're hoping? Because I like this, and I wouldn't want to see more surface parking in that area. So I just want to know how tied we are to this design at this time, if it comes back, and what the opportunities
As far as I am aware, this is the site plan. As said, there would be only one development officer variance at this time, which is for a increased front yard
Which would
setback
happen
from the
in-house.
road, which can
Okay.
be done at staff level.
Okay.
So they wouldn't be back over.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions for staff at this time? At this time, I'll ask the applicant to come forward, and if you could state your name and whether you've read staff recommendation and if you're in agreement with it.
I'm John Fifield, the owner and the developer. I do agree with staff. And there is parking in the basement for 28 of the 30 cars for each building. So probably 95% of the cars will be inside with EV chargers too. Yeah.
Any other committee members have questions for the developer at this time? The applicant? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had one other one, and it was just, any plans for commercial on the bottom floor?
There isn't this time.
Okay. And it's more curiosity, I think, as we kind of densify and more residential goes in Milledgeville, which is awesome. There's going to be calls for more service. So I was just curious how we're kind of completing that community, and if this would play
Yeah,
any
it's
part in that.
Been a tough go, I think, for some of my tenants there. And
Yeah.
I haven't raised rents in some of them 15 years.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I probably won't.
You know the
back it.
market, yeah.
Yeah, I built those buildings that I'm taking back down again, so I don't do it lightly, but
Yeah.
I think it's been a tough go for some of them.
Okay, thanks.
Especially pandemic,
Yeah, no, I'm aware how my business do. Yeah, thanks.
Okay,
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
thank you.
At this time, the public, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak for or against this proposal? One more time, is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this proposal? And third and final time, is there anybody from the public that would like to speak for or against this proposal? At this time, I would conclude the public hearing, and I would open this up for committee to, if they have any questions for staff or recommendations.
I move the motion.
We have a motion. We have a seconder, Councilor Lowe. Question? All those in favor? Opposed? Passed. Thank you. So I will welcome Councilor Sullivan to the meeting.
Just make a note of the time for when he entered. You made it for the last item.
So 5.4. 5.4. The applicant is America Real Estate Company, landowner 756080 New Brunswick, Inc. This is in regards to 665 Loch Lomond Road, 669 Loch Lomond Road, and 0 Commerce Drive. Plan designation is Regional Retail Center. The application type is rezoning in Section 59 amendment. The Community Planning Act authorizes the Planning Advisory Committee to give its views to Common Council concerning proposed amendments to the zoning bylaw and Section 59 conditions. Common Council will consider the committee's recommendation at a public hearing on Tuesday, October the 1st. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Again, this application is to rezone the properties located at 665 and 669 Loch Lomond Road and 0 Commerce Drive from Business Park Commercial to Corridor Commercial to construct self-storage facility and associated vehicle rental. It also requires a Section 59 amendment of historic conditions. The subject site is located at the intersection of Loch Lomond and Commerce Drive. It's currently a vacant lot. The area acts as a buffer between the industrial lands to the south of Loch Lomond and the residential neighborhood located off Mark Drive. Subject site is designated McAllister Regional Retail Center in the municipal plan. The McAllister Regional Retail Center is the major regional retail center in the city and is the focus of commercial retail and service-based uses intended to serve southwestern New Brunswick. Self-storage facilities and associated vehicle rental uses provide a service that can be used by residents across the city and beyond, meeting the intention of the regionally focused center. Subject site is, again, currently zoned Business Park Commercial. The Business Park Commercial zone accommodates areas that are generally identified for commercial redevelopment, compatible residential and employment uses, such as businesses, office, research and development facilities, and light manufacturing and assembly. While the Business Park Commercial Zone permits self-storage facilities, the proposed development includes vehicle rental, requiring the rezoning to Corridor Commercial. Staff are also recommending that the rescission of existing Section 59 conditions that were imposed on 669 Loch Lomond on April 9th, 2002, and 0 Commerce Drive on May 1st, 2000. These current conditions on both properties are in relation to previous and proposed developments that were never materialized or have ceased to function. Letters were sent to landowners within 100 meters of the subject property on September 3rd, 2024, and public notice was posted on September 9th, 2024. No letters were received as of this presentation. In the end, staff are recommending the rezone from Business Park Commercial to Corridor Commercial and the removal of the existing Section 59 conditions on 669 Loch Lomond Road and 0 Commerce Drive. Thank you.
Thank you. Do committee members have any questions for staff at this time? Thank you. At this time, I'd ask the applicant to come forward. Is the applicant here? They're here virtually, okay.
Are you able to, we can see them, that, if possible? And if they are there and they're trying to acknowledge us, we're just dealing with some tech stuff, so. Yeah, just knock.
She's working on it.
Yeah, it seems to be inverted or something. Oh, someone is there. If you aren't able to communicate with us, can you type in the comments, perhaps?
It also appears that you're on mute. So you could, if that's what's holding this up.
Hello.
Here we go.
Hi. This is Tracy Hicks from U-Haul.
So you are breaking up a little bit, and I'll just ask you if you could repeat your name, please.
It's Tracy Higgs.
Thank you, Tracy. I'd like to ask if this is Brad Mitchell, the chair, and I'd like to ask whether you've read staff recommendation and whether you're in agreement with it.
Yes, we are in agreement.
Is there anything else that you'd like to add at this time?
No, not at this time.
Thank you. So the committee members have any questions for the applicant at this time? Councillor Lowe?
Yeah, it looks like this area had gotten ready back about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. So I'd like to know if this does get approved, when will it start and when will it finish?
Were you able to hear that, Tracy? I'm on mute, or she is?
Hello?
Hi, Tracy.
Hi.
Were you able to hear the question from Councillor Lowe?
Yes, sir. We're looking to get that started as soon as possible. We have just purchased the land, so, or purchasing the land.
So my understanding is that as soon as you get the approval that you'll start construction?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, as soon as we're permitted.
All right, thank you. Do any other members of the committee have questions? I believe that's everything. Thank you very much, Tracy.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
Thank you. At this time, I will ask whether any members of the public would like to speak on this matter for it or against it. The second request, is there anybody that would like to speak on this proposal for or against? Third and final call, is there anybody that would like to speak for or against this? At this time, I'll close the public hearing and open this to committee, whether you have any questions for staff or anything else that you'd like to mention. Motion. I have a motion from Phil Como, seconded by Councillor Sullivan. Minutes, what are they? Sorry, Travis. At this point, any question? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion passed. Thank you. New business. I would like to acknowledge that tonight is Travis's Recky's last meeting. It's been a great help to us over the years, especially as we've tried to do some of these meetings. So I wish you all the best in your new job, Travis, and thank you very much. And Colleen, we look forward to working with you in the future. Thank you very much. The next meeting for the Planning Advisory Committee is October the 8th, which is different than normal, and it will be at 6 p.m. on October the 8th. Do I have a motion for adjournment? Councillor Lowe, seconded by Jerry. All those in favor? Pass. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.